Wow, that was quick. Yes, quick in the sense of titles and straight to me as it should be. Hello everyone, welcome on the live or on the replay. I'm here, martinshine.live on any web browser, or if you prefer, and better still, if you go straight to one of the platforms we're broadcasting on. Yeah, Periscope, Facebook, YouTube, and somewhere in there, Mixer.com and Twitch.tv. Yeah, a lot to remember, I know. But hey, if you're on Periscope and Twitter and you're connected there, that's the main thing. Do follow on Periscope. Certainly you'll receive a notification if you are following there. How do you do that? 3 dots in the bottom corner of your screen. And if you press those dots, the ellipsis is what they're technically called. There'll be options there. One of them is follow me. And then you'll receive a notification when I go live. And it means that you can join us or not. You can have the choice then. If you notice that there is a notification and you might be in the middle of something and not be able to join us, but you can always watch this replay as well. So thank you for joining me, everyone. It's been a bit of a strange day. Now, I'm wondering if a lot of people may not have received a notification on this occasion that I've gone live, because there is, it's just kind of a 50% of a hiccup on my account at the moment with Twitter. Earlier on this evening, for some reason, bizarre reason, it started asking me if I could verify my account, and to do that I have to put some information in. Anyway, it's not as straightforward as it should be. Some technical stuff going on that shouldn't be, so I'm waiting for Twitter to sort that out. In the meantime though, thank you for I see that Diva Dwarf is there. Live and direct is what's happening right now for me to you, and I'm glad you joined. Don't forget to share this out as well. Please do that, Rose, and perhaps other people then receive your notification as well. The up arrow at the bottom of the screen is how you can share this out on any platform, but Facebook and particularly on Twitter is also it's a great option to use, because well, most people will be noticing your share if indeed you do share this out. Can you see comments there, people? If you can, hopefully you can hear me, and press the screen gently if you're watching on Periscope as well, because then the hearts will appear if you just press there, roughly speaking, gentle like, not too hard. We don't want you cracking the screen, of course. I have here something unusual, which is, oh look, wait a minute, what is that? 0137, yeah, On-Call Media. Oh yes, that's the man we work with very often here, and that is Adam Roberts. I say he, that is pretty much him. OnCallMedia.co.uk. What's going on? It's floating across. Yeah, by the way, I'm back on this camera, not that one, on this broadcast. Don't ask why. I didn't have much time to set up, and when I went to go live, the main camera decided to fail again. Had I been preparing a little earlier, I would have been able to fix it, because I'm pretty sure I know what's going on and wrong with it now. Thanks for joining me, Saran's, Rosie, Samantha, as well. You're here, live and direct from the depths of Essex. I hope it's not too cold and windy at the moment there where you are. It does get windy where Rosie Samantha is, because, well, the River Thames is pretty much the sea by the time it reaches there. And I would suggest that because you're not so much inland as a lot of people might be, so you're going to get the wind first. Patty 0898, thanks for joining me, Patty. What I'm going to do right now, everyone, I've had what sort of a day today? I can't say it's been a good day. I've had a bit of a bad day, and I'll explain why. It's because other people are being caused ongoing problems. I mean, other people who are vulnerable, who themselves need help and support. Professionals are continuing to abuse, use that word and understand it as you care to do so as I start explaining what's been going on, but they've been abusing their roles, and it isn't too good at all. Mary of London, hi, I see you are restricted on Twitter. Yes, but that's true. If you could all share this out, please, right now, that would be really, really appreciated, because then hopefully everyone that's connected within the bubble will know that we are definitely live. I'm not sure, because of the restrictions just at the moment, which happened probably about 2 hours ago, so I'm not sure that the notification went out when I went live here. I'm actually surprised that I was able to be here without any problems on Periscope, because without getting too techie, to use Periscope you have to verify yourself and kind of log in using your Twitter account. Well, if there's a problem with the Twitter account, well, what's going on? Why is it letting me on here? So cutting to the main point here, everyone. Sadly, at about 11 hours ago, according to my technology in front of me, Shine, who a lot of you have been following, who as we know is in hospital at the moment, tweeted the following message. The hospital I'm at is trying to send me home, knowing full well I want to #die. #WTF, #London, #UK. Now, I didn't notice that message until later on today, for one reason or another, and it was obviously concerning. Particularly because last night, when we were having an old interaction with Shine live, she was telling us, well, she wasn't too happy where she was. She was certainly happier when she went to sleep last night, that I do know, than she had been through the day, and certainly when she'd woken up. And it's because this is unfolding so fast, it's almost impossible to keep up with what's been going on. Let me tell you this, without putting or trying to put a specific time on it, I think it was this time about 24 hours ago, a bit earlier, so that would have been Monday. It's Tuesday now, of course, still just about here where I am. Yeah, absolutely, Patty. I believe she's okay, but I have to say at the moment she's been a little bit quieter than usual, and I believe that's due to possibly being medicated more, if not, well, as I say, I'm not going to direct my finger where I want to right now, which is at professionals. I say I want to because I know what's been going on. And about just over 24 hours ago, sort of a little earlier on in the evening and night time yesterday, I tried phoning Shine live. And they have a communal telephone for all the patients where she is. She's probably explained this to everyone. I think she did on one of her broadcasts. And in fact, she might have even told you. As I say, it's like a bit of a whirlwind here with what's going on. And when I tried to call her, she wasn't answering her own telephone. So I had to call the communal one. And because when she didn't answer her telephone, I'm like, not getting too concerned because she might be asleep. She might have a telephone that's on charge, not working at that time, switched off for whatever reason. Or she might be, I don't know, out eating somewhere. She might have even been with professionals, doctors, who knows, but probably not at that time of night. Or something more serious might have happened. So I called the communal telephone and a lady answered. And I asked to speak to Shine Live. To which the immediate response was, oh, she's asleep at the moment, she's sleeping. So I responded, understandably, well, are you telling me that because because you've checked on her room if you're staff? She said, yes, she hasn't checked on the room. She is staff, but she hasn't checked on the room. I said, well, is she asleep on the sofa, for example, in the communal area? And before I had a chance to continue, the phone went down. The call was terminated. So I called back, and who answered? It was Shine Live. And I said, but I thought you were asleep. The person that just answered the telephone moments ago told me you were sleeping. And obviously you're not sleep talking and sleep answering the telephone to me now. So I asked her if she could see who just answered the telephone. She said yes. And she looked across the room and could see a member of staff just disappearing back into the office. So I asked her if she could obtain the member of staff's name, because I felt that I needed to follow up on that. I thought there was a bit of unprofessional behaviour, if nothing else, on that behalf of that member of staff. So then I said to Shine Live, I'll call you back soon, and I proceeded to try and contact the professional in the office, and I did so after speaking to another donut, first of all, a male, and then after that he put me across to this female, whose name I have somewhere, but obviously it doesn't matter for now. We can call her Sarah. And Sarah, I explained to her what I just encountered and the experience I just had, and I suggested that it was her that I spoke with, and I said, it's very strange that the person had told me that Shine Live was asleep when she wasn't. I asked Sarah, was it yourself that I spoke with? Have you answered the communal telephone in the last 10 minutes or so? And no word of a lie, the response was, I don't know. So I asked again, expressing myself very, very in a concerned manner, saying that, well, your staff, and without sounding in any way flippant, offhand, out of order, I said to her, again, it was another occasion where I had to say I thought it was the patients that were mentally ill, not the staff, is what I was implying. 10 minutes ago is when this happened, less than. And surely if you're in a position of responsibility working on a mental ward in East London or anywhere for that matter, surely you must have a memory that's good, because you need to remember if you've given someone their medication. I know there's a checklist and a check sheet and all that sort of stuff to make sure that you don't over-medicate someone by accident. But, it's just common sense, that stuff, isn't it? And that was potentially provoking. Remember, they were speaking with me. I can pretty much keep calm in such situations, but it's wholly inappropriate. I've been enduring remiss, negligent professionals now for getting on for, well, easily 2 years on and off with the welfare services with one reason or another. And it's just not acceptable. And it's not just not acceptable, it is inappropriate, and it's not going to be allowed to happen. We have plenty of conversations I want you to hear in due course. What happened after that yesterday was that, as I say, obviously subsequently Shine Live went to sleep after her broadcast. I'm forgetting, she actually broadcast to everyone, telling everyone, and this is key actually, that she was open as she always is and honest, telling everyone that she was sectioned and why she was in this mental secure ward under Section 2, if you remember, under the UK's laws. And she told you all that, plus other things, and she might have even told you this incident that I've just explained to you, where the phone was put down on me and I was lied to. I'm sure, it must have been a mistake. Of course, it wasn't a lie that she was asleep when she was in the same room as the woman, and the woman obviously saw her. But anyhow, she went to sleep, did Shine Live, and then this morning, but by the way, when she went to sleep, she was on the understanding, obviously, as you all know, she's upset. Part of her being upset is because she knows that she's caged in. Remember her words, that she had lost her freedom and she was being made to stay in the ward. Okay, since her initial incident took place over a week ago now, well, she's been doing really well and is thinking in a different way, more positive now, as you know. However, when I woke up this morning, rather, at around about local time 9:30, I received a telephone call from a professional from her ward in the hospital. And Jasmine tells me that she's calling to see if I think Shine Live is in a better place now mentally, and if I feel that she should go home now and she's able and capable to look after herself now. I kid you not. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. And I expressed myself again to this nurse. I said to her, well, I'm very concerned in so many words. I'm concerned because you're asking me, the person who you've pretty much ignored since Shine Live was sectioned under Section 2 and taken into a mental health ward. You haven't tried to build a relationship with me as her point of contact, her prime point of contact, as she said in so many words herself to yourselves, and it's on paper there. And I said, you haven't exactly explained to me what you think her condition is, how you're going to be dealing with it, how it's developing there. And you have, and you're calling me out of the blue to ask me, effectively, if I think that you should allow her to go home. And I said, what? First of all, the last I heard, if you remember, her ankle had swollen. And she'd explained why, because of a heart condition potentially that she'd had a week ago. And that they were going to do a scan, and they were going to do it on Monday, but she was asleep or something, wasn't it, if you remember, something like that. As I say, I'm losing track and I'm losing the plot myself with this so much going on. And I said to the professional, just that little fact that she's got something wrong with her ankle and it needs to be investigated says to me, forget everything else. She's in a good place. She needs to be looked after, and you need to investigate what's going on, not just in her mind, but physically as well, before you even consider telling her that you believe she's capable and able to go back into society. So with that, I asked her if she knew what Shine Live had thought about going home, and if she'd asked her what she thought. And the nurse, Jasmine, said to me, she's asleep at the moment, so she obviously hadn't asked her. She was obviously unaware that this conversation and development was going to take place and was unfolding at that time. So I then asked Jasmine, what did she think? Oh, it's not my job to say. Really? But then wait a minute. It gets not better, but worse, because there am I, not the professional, being asked because of my relationship and the fact that I am on paper the responsible adult, one of the four Shine Live. But then they tell me, well, we've got to ask family members and friends, and we have you're at the top of the list, you Martin. So I'm thinking to myself, right, hold on a minute, you're now going to ask other people. So I did give them a warning, politely, and just brief them and said to them, you know what, if you're going to go down that list and ask other people, whoever they are, just remember that this patient of yours, pretty much everyone, and I think she said this live to you guys and girls, and if she didn't, well, I'm telling you now, only because she will tell you if I asked her to, just to corroborate what I'm saying. But everyone in her life, they're all the people that have put her where she is now by her being shall we say, educated in the wrong way. Let's leave it like that, yeah? And we don't need to go into everything else because you've heard a lot of it before. So the staff are now going to ring a list of people who are effectively toxic and have educated Shine Live the wrong way. And this is how they work. I'm just going to read your comments in a moment, so please, I'm glad they're going a bit slow, because if I do stop, you understand that I'll lose track and then forget where I was and it'll all get complicated. So anyhow, so with that, I did tell the member of staff that in my opinion, Shine Live should stay exactly where she is, certainly until they've chosen to have a word with me. And I said, by the way, your manager, you should be getting your manager to call me because of all the problems that have been happening recently. I do suggest that the manager calls me, particularly because the media, social media specifically, but the media in general, is interested in this story, and I think it's in his interest, the manager, Mark, that's his name, to call me to see what's going on, because I have concerns about the staff looking after Shine Live. And if I've got concerns about the staff, then where do we go from there? Anyhow, so we left it there. Someone else also said to me that's close to Shine Live that they believe that she should stay where she is, and they don't know half of the story that's going on. So I felt a bit better there, because it's a bit of a weight on your shoulders, this. I don't want anyone caged up, trapped. It's very difficult, but you could, putting it bluntly, of course, the old saying, you've got to be cruel to be kind. That's definitely poignant right now, right here. So anyway, after that, I then I received more messages from Shine Live saying how she was on a bit of a downer. because the staff were not talking to me in a proper way, I felt that I needed to involve police. But when I called police and explained the situation, that I'm many miles away, I can't just visit the ward just to have a word politely with staff or see if Shine Live is okay. And bearing in mind that the staff had given me a reason to be greatly concerned about their conduct, I thought that it was best to let police know. Particularly as the negative messages that I was receiving seemed to be quite serious from Shine Live. And police have basically told me today, throughout the day, as I've spoken to them a handful of times, and certainly I did call back later to see if they had visited the ward, they can't do that because they have called the ward and spoken to the professionals, the possible abusers, who are telling us that everything's fine. And as I've repeatedly said, the Jews didn't go to the death and to the concentration camps and to be gassed knowingly a lot of the time, because they were told you're going on a vacation. As I've said here before, I think I will have to repeat these analogies and examples just because this is relentless, what we're being presented with by the professionals, the nurses, the doctors. By the way, as I say, I was told that the doctor felt that Shine Live was in a position where she could go home today. I personally felt, when I was being told this, that the staff want her to leave because somehow they're realising that the cat's been let out the bag regarding their negligence and that sort of thing. By the way, I've been accused of, or Shine Live has told me that one of the reasons they don't want her there is they're concerned because I've been threatening. Yeah, not that they started the whole cycle by being negligent, remiss, abusing one of their patients, and therefore I've had to be, well, communicating in a way with them that's not threatening, but just telling them as it is, which is that if they don't, deal with this appropriately, we're going to have to contact police if they don't tell me themselves what's going on and act appropriately. So on that basis, I think they're feeling threatened, and it's very easy when they've got a load of people conniving, contriving, and we've had this before with Tower Hamlets at social services, and it's just easy for them to do because they're in a position of responsibility and trusted and power, etc., etc. Now, I have a number of recordings that we're not going to hear today on this broadcast because I need to have a bit of a breather myself and make sure there's nothing sort of too confidential, if necessary, to bleep it out and that sort of thing. What I did do towards the end of the day, though, when the police told me they can't get involved, I couldn't contact Shine Live. I was very concerned, so I contacted the public relations department of the Health Trust in East London that operate the hospital. The gentleman there, very, very helpful he was, and he very quickly told me that he did get my message to staff, and he called me back about an hour later telling me at approximately 5:30 local time that if not before, he will contact me tomorrow if I don't hear from anyone before, and he'll sort of update me. But I did suggest to him that in light of the fact that he's now told the staff what's going on, how they've made me feel and the situation they've caused, that it would be nice to think that someone would call me at any moment just to put my mind at rest and to let us all know that Shine Live is okay and that none of this underhand and out of order behaviour and unprofessional conduct will continue. But no one's bothered to do that. Tell you what did happen as well, actually. The manager, and I missed this bit, he did call me. No, he didn't. He was told to call me, wasn't he? That's right. I told you. Yasmin this morning, the nurse, told me that she, I told her that it would be in his interest, and I think it would be appropriate for the manager, Mark, to call me. And he didn't call me. But after I'd spoken with police and etc., I called back and asked to speak with Mark, and he was in the office and he took my call. And I told him everything I'm telling you now. And I emphasised very briefly, I think, but I made it clear that I realise he's a manager and he isn't necessarily knowing what's going on when other staff are left to do their job inappropriately and or otherwise. And towards the end of the call, I received another call on another line from Shine Live, and I left her on hold and she could hear what I was saying. And towards the end of the conversation with Mark, the manager, I said to him, I tell you what, because when I explained how Shine Live thought that she was staying and I was being told that professionals felt that she was in a position to leave, I said to him, if she wants to stay, can she? And he said no. He said to me she can't. If they believe that she's fit to go, and the doctors suggest to the staff that Shine Live is in a position where she's able to fend for herself and leave, then she has to leave. So I said, hold on a minute. She's already, and she's threatened repeatedly of doing the same thing again as she did that got her into this situation and sectioned. So I said, hold on. Now, bearing in mind this is what she's saying, are you telling me that she has to leave the hospital, step over the line, sort of into the public domain, if you like, outside the front gates, and then step back in again, and then she can say to you, I want to admit myself again because I'm not feeling up to it, and I still need help? And he said, no, she can't do that. What she would have to do is then walk around however far it is, to the accident and emergency, the ER section of the hospital, and effectively start the process again. And if you don't believe me, I mean, you will hear this conversation soon, I can tell you that. But more importantly was then when I said to him, well, hold on a minute then. I said to him, she's telling me that she wants to stay there, and you're telling me that you believe she doesn't. And he said, yeah. I said, wouldn't it be ideal then if the three parties were in the same room or party to the same conversation, Shine Live, myself, as a responsible adult for her, and the professionals, one of them at least, and then we'll all get the same story and the same view certainly from Shine Live. And his response basically started to be, the conversation was like, well, I'm busy at the moment, or not right now, or something like that. But then I said to him, well, hold on a minute. Effectively, let's make his life easier. I said, just a moment, because Shine Live, you've been listening to the last part of this conversation, and I opened up her volume on her call, and I said to her, Shine Live, I said, is this right? You want to leave the hospital, or do you want to stay? And she said, no, I definitely want to stay. I've told staff that I'm going to do something silly if I leave here, etc., etc. And of course, the immediate response from a very professional manager, Mark, was, he was very concerned, and he just responded by saying, she's been listening to this call. That's inappropriate, or something like that. And he hung up. And that was the end of that. And here we are now, as I say. Now, at nearly 20 minutes to midnight on the 21st of January, 2020. It's a Tuesday. And if they don't leave you pulling your hair out, I don't know what does. I'm going to read all your comments now and continue. Let's see here. Where are we? The important comments are, half time seems more like the staff who need. Yeah, I've got to, absolutely. I actually said that to one of the staff members again. I think it was the lady who had answered the phone and said she couldn't remember what she'd done 10 minutes ago. She had answered it or not. She said, I don't remember. I said to her, I thought that it was the patients that were mentally ill, not the staff. Just saying. Right, where are we with all these comments then? A week is not long enough to be cured. Yes, I don't think there's, when you say cured, I don't want to be pedantic at this time, Rose, but yes, certainly, yeah, a lot of these things, it's a bit like a bereavement. Often you can't get over it, when you lose someone close to you. Foolish of me. We were kind of talking along literally the same things here, but I was thinking of when I lost my mother a couple of years ago. You never forget that. It never is something that you get over or is cured, the feelings there, but certainly it gets easier, doesn't it, as time goes on, is what I'm trying to say there. But yeah, I get that, Rose. My gosh, mental health in Britain is dire. I am glad Shine is a bit better. Yeah, she needs one-to-one counselling. She needs a lot. She needs a lot, Mary, and everyone out there. And the problem is you can only do one thing at a time. She's overwhelmed. She's overloaded. For over 2 decades, she's had all this going on and no one to express it to, etc., etc., no one to trust. And that's another thing as well. Of course the hospital are going to get mixed messages from her, because as I explained to the manager again today as well, one of the top things is, unfortunately, she has trust issues. She told you that herself, which is what I'm telling you. And therefore, if she's got trust issues, is she really the one to be taking the ultimate decision from? And, luckily, I think you all know she's a very strong lady, very intelligent, beautiful heart, etc. But she is at a certain end of the health scale when it comes to mental health being impaired. She, as I said the other day, I believe, with respect to everyone, but she's not a total retard. Yeah, it's just that on occasions she's hippity hoppity hippity skippity 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 through life, being as happy as she often is, but then suddenly something will happen and upset her, and rather than her just looking away from it, then that's when there'll be a trigger. Yeah, and that's totally understandable with the conditions she has and the things that she needs to still deal with, which of course she highly acknowledges as well. Very commendable as well, etc., etc. So yeah, no one but her knows her mind. Now that's true, Rose. But then again, it's a fine line, isn't it? Because when somebody's mind's gone, another extreme, and with other people, then they know their mind, but they're in a vicious circle, aren't they? It's almost like amnesia. What am I thinking of? What's the other thing that elderly people suffer from? It is I nearly said arthritis. It is dementia. Yeah. So it's a very, very tricky one, that, isn't it? When 1 minute someone remembers all of their life and who you are talking to them, and the next minute they literally can to be like a Jekyll and Hyde and turn around. Who are you? Get out of here! There's a stranger here, and they themselves, they might even panic. It's totally understandable when the brain is confused and all this. This is very complicated stuff. And as I say, I'm no professional. I'm just someone who thinks logically, and therefore I can understand, if I say so myself, more than the average person, but not as ideal as professionals are supposed to. Interesting, the nurse didn't ask about home life situation. Safe somewhere. No, yeah, good point, Danny. Thank you for that. I'm not ignoring you. As I say, I had a lot to get off of my chest, or at least share with you more to the point. No one, yeah. If she felt safe there, then she should stay and be cared for. Yeah, absolutely, Rose. Being honest, I felt the remark about the Jewish people was unnecessary. Right, well, as someone from that background, Mary, I don't have a problem expressing that sort of example. So maybe you weren't aware of that and you haven't been listening recently. That's another ball game. The anti-Semitism, racism that we've had to endure when we were having contact sessions with our son Aaron. That's another story. It's huge. But they have been very remiss and negligent when trying to consider his culture and background, certainly from one side of his family and a parent. It was like when I went to the doc, they said I was okay and sent me away. I had to wait 8 months for therapy. Understood, Rose. Sadly, nothing that you've said surprises me, says Danny. Right, no. Yeah, thanks for the dementia and Alzheimer's words there. Yeah, I almost had a moment myself, didn't I? If I don't sound too inappropriate, having a little chuckle about that. But there we are. My nana had dementia. The last day I saw her before she died, she remembered me, which was not. I bet it was. That was. Yeah. It would have been a bit uncomfortable her leaving. Of course, she would have been understanding, and she wouldn't have meant it. But if she'd have left and she totally didn't know who you are, which often must happen, again it's 50-50 in that situation, I would suggest, then it must be heartbreaking for those that are left behind. And that's a big issue. So anyway, everyone, there was more to tell you. I'm looking at Shine Live's Twitter feed right now as we speak. It's a bit difficult seeing that my one's blocked, if you understand, with the way I've had to log in and check, but I wish I was in a position now to replay to you just what I've been enduring today. Now, the police have been very good, ultimately, speaking with me and empathising, sympathising, really, and telling me just how difficult it is for them, because that's the point. In this situation, they've handed someone over now to medical practitioners and professionals, and therefore they have to be guided by the professionals. So then why the hell was I asked if I think that someone's in a position to leave a hospital, yet they can't give me their opinion and guide me based on what they've seen through the past few days? And that's because they just wanted to get rid of her, I believe, because I think they feel now threatened by the cat being out of the bag when it comes to all this exposure. It's huge, I can tell you. I don't know, Rose, and I'm very concerned actually now, because she hasn't contacted me. She hasn't been contacted. I did speak with Shine Live at one point this evening briefly, and she was going into a group session with her peers and other patients there. Incidentally, they were trying to send home another lady there, and she also didn't want to leave, and that's as brief as it was with me when Shine Live told me that as well this evening. So as I say, it's horrendous how the staff are operating, because they're in their own little secure unit. They can close the door on the patients. We've seen how they can do that, and they can just chit chat away And I've got to tell you, it's the way their speech, the people that I'm speaking with, okay, they might be from a different culture themselves, but it's impossible to understand them. So when you've got someone effectively talking Japanese, for example, and another one speaking, say, for example, Aborigine, yeah, you've got to have some sort of common way of communicating. And often it's in English these days, because most of the world, if not their first language, their second language is English. We're appalling in the UK for learning other languages. I only speak 3 languages myself, while we can possibly have a moment to consider a little chuckle. The 3 languages I put on my resume is English, American and Australian, of course. Yeah, know what I'm saying, right? So yeah, I'm no better than the average Brit when it comes to languages. And the thing is, you know, so you've got your common ground, yeah, of English, even if you have a French person and a German, yeah? Okay, they end up often speaking English. If they don't speak French, does the German, and the French person doesn't speak. You get what I'm saying. Anyway, so therefore, when you're speaking to a professional in a hospital, certainly in London and the area that Shine Live is in, I would expect someone to be able to converse in English, even if they're from an ethnic minority themselves or elsewhere, but they just can't. And it suggests to me that's one reason these night staff work the night shift, because it's kind of quieter, and it's almost like, well, they couldn't possibly interact fully and ideally in the daytime when it's a bit busier, just saying. But that's my opinion. That's the view they've given me by acting inappropriately in the way they have. By heart I speak though. Yes, you do, Kim. Excellent. Got a bit of Canadian as well, yeah? Are they governed by the Care Commission at the board, Mary asks. Right, well, what I found out was I rang the Mayor's office again today in Tower Hamlets, because that's the borough this hospital's based in, the borough where social services were involved with Shine Live and myself over the last couple of years. And on that level, on other matters, they've been hugely negligent. Again, things that we need to talk about in the future. But the problem is, I keep saying to you guys and girls over the last few weeks, we've got loads to talk about, but now I've got even more to talk about. And it's like, oh my goodness, where do I begin? Do I start talking about the latest stuff first and leave the stuff that's gone on in the past to something a subsequent time? Or do we deal with that other stuff first and put it into some sort of chronological order? I tell you, overwhelming isn't the word right now. Exactly, it would be helpful if they could speak English. Now, Danny, it really would be. Have I got something here I can play you? No, I can't. I'll save it. I'll do it next time or soon. But there was a call when someone answered the telephone, and it honestly sounded like a chimpanzee. And that's an insult to chimpanzees, so I do apologise to anyone watching from London Zoo. And I am not. I wish I could laugh at that. It's shocking, absolutely. Anyhow, so that's really where we are, everyone, at the moment. What I didn't do, by the way, just because I can press a few buttons, and we like to do so from time to time, is let people that are new here know who I am. But you did hear, hopefully you remember from the beginning. That's me. You can find me on Twitter when it's working, at Martin Shine on Periscope as well. Please do follow on both those platforms, because there's great things to come in the future. I'm really bored talking about all this negativity, but it's all very necessary, if for no other reason, obviously ultimately to help Shine Live and be there for her and make sure that her situation is staying positive and stable, but for other people in the future. And just to think about all those people in the world that can't express themselves as Shine Live has been able to do, to you, to me, on her own broadcasts and social media, as well as speaking to me and then having me relay to you messages. There are people out there that really, Shine Live would have told you as well that she does have an issue with expressing herself, again, related to who you can trust and that sort of thing as well. But just think of all the people out there that haven't even been able to get that far and let anyone know, not even one person know, of what's going on in here and their apprehension, place and fright. I work with, we have parents, Urdu, so staff who could translate we hire. Yeah, great, Rose. They only speak Urdu, really. I'd say that was shocking, actually, because what happens if there's an emergency or you need to think off your feet and do something, react instantly? not quite, if there's a fire, that sort of thing, pretty shocking. You've got to know the basics. I mean, I remember, it's funny, but when we were at school and we had the option to learn languages, it wasn't something I wanted to do at that time. Didn't want to be at school at all at that time, but certainly I didn't want to learn languages, just like I didn't have any interest in history in any way, shape or form at the time. And if I had to learn a language then, it would have been French. And I started, we all had a little dabble in languages before we had to make a decision, do we want to continue or not at school? And I didn't choose any languages, but French was okay then, but, I gave it a miss ultimately, and I wasn't paying too much attention on, at the time, the teacher used to say to us, today we're going to learn the verb to eat. Yes, the word manger, or mange, isn't it? French, to eat, yeah? The verb to eat. But I didn't even understand what was meant by a verb. So I didn't have the desire to say to the teacher, I don't know what a verb is or what you mean the verb to eat. Had they have explained that to me, it would have made much more sense at the time and I might have been interested. But because my English teacher wasn't explaining sort of, exactly verbs, adjective, nouns at that time specifically, so it didn't sort of marry up, if you see what I mean. So maybe the French teacher should have had a word with our English teacher to see where we were in the on the journey of learning English before they start using these expressions. We're going to learn the verb to eat or the noun, this one, that one, anyway. So the point I'm making is at that time, didn't really pick up any languages, although I had a little dabble with French. And then subsequently, I realised that one of the best languages to learn, really, and that would be most useful in the world because it was spoken in a lot of different territories, is Spanish. Yeah, and I said to myself then, if ever I did learn a language, it would be Spanish. And that I probably would do now if I was going to learn any language, particularly on the west coast of the United States of America. A lot of Spanish people over there as well, isn't there? So my friend did languages, French and German. She used to insult me in German. It was so funny. Really? Okay. Yeah, the only German I know is Audi and BMW, or should that be BMW? Mercedes, of course. Yeah. Of course, one word that I know in a lot of languages is video. Think about it. Yeah. Anyway, right. Has anyone got any questions? I'm pretty, I have to say, exhausted at the moment. And I can't believe where this hour has been going. We haven't got long to go before the hour's up. Wow. That hot chocolate's fantabulous. Now, I don't need one of these. Certainly don't need it for the chocolate. But I thought I'd just somehow, I'm just getting confused with this camera. There you are. Another Jaffa cake. Oh yeah. They're lovely, they are. How are you, mate? I'm good, Diva Dwarf. Thank you for asking. I'll come back to that in just a moment. My energy's low. And I'm better for having this chat with all of you out there and knowing that you're there as well. Generally that's the case anyway. Before this started with Shine Live, it's always good to have our community here. Look, by the way, just so you can see, those that don't know what a Jaffa cake, on the top there you can just about see that it's risen in the centre because you've got this lump of, well, you might call it jello, and I don't know, the light's bad, so sorry about that, people. Might have to give up on it this time. But underneath the chocolate is a zingy bit of jello-y orange flavoured stuff. Now, while we're here, I thought about this when I put the packet down earlier. That's my packet of Jaffa cakes. These are original Jaffa cakes, so they have an orange zing to them, orange flavour. But Mary from London, and possibly Diva Dwarf, I say that specifically because you'll be familiar with this product, I hope. Jaffa cakes, out of a regular Jaffa cake box. I'm sure that until recently, the lime flavoured ones, which are kind of new, people, I love those ones, they're my favourite at the moment. But the lime ones, the plastic is green in colour. In the same way, I'm sure that the original ones have had until now, recently, orange plastic around them. Is it me going crazy? I mean, I've shown you these over the weeks and years, and since we've been talking about such matters. What wonderful English foodstuffs we can share together visually, and you used to have an option of winning the Jaffa cakes, didn't you? That'll be coming back, by the way. But I'm sure, as I say, that this wasn't always transparent and just clear like that. What do you think? What says DM is open on Twitter? You know, how are you, Mark? DM is open. You've lost me there, Rose. I don't know what you mean there. Sorry. Do you mean I can always direct message people? Is that what you're trying? They were orange. Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm pretty sure they were, Rose. The thing is though, as I say, that actually came out of a recent pack that I bought. So yeah, maybe that's it. They've changed now back for some reason. I forgot until you mentioned it. What did you mention? What? Oh, what, you forgot the colour had changed. You confused me. I want to know what you mean, by the way, Rose, about DM is open on Twitter. You know. Anyhow, speaking of direct messages, Mary's going to put her fingers on her ear holes now. If you want to win both of these, the cactus and the popsicle ice lolly, remember they are headphone splitters. They have a couple of holes in them, and then they've got a plug at the bottom of them where you can plug it into your digital device. All you've got to do is tell me the name of a female, what you think it would be if you tell her something and you want her to keep it a secret, and you don't want her to tell anyone. What would her name be? It's not Lisa. It's not Amanda. Okay. Yeah. It's not Mary or Rose. In fact, we don't have anyone by the name on our broadcasts at the moment. Not that I'm aware of. If that helps you. I know it doesn't. I'm sure it doesn't. 99.9%. I don't know where we're going to go with that. But anyhow, so yeah. If you know the answer, the name of a lady, a female, who you would tell something to, and you want her to keep it confidential and a secret, what would you expect her name to be? The example is, if you see a man on his knee on the floor, on one knee, what would his name be? What would you expect it to be? And the answer is Neil. Okay. If you know the answer, direct message me on Twitter, but you must be following me as well if you want to win the prize and you are correct with your answer. Are we the only ones who don't know the answer? Well, everyone else apart from Martin Shine apparently doesn't know the answer. I'm not sure I understand that one, Rosie Samantha. There's no one that I've told the answer to, if that helps. Even my good friend who I work with on a daily basis, Adam, however much he's been asking me, it's actually frustrating me now that you haven't got the answer. I think what we're going to do now, Kim, Neil. Yeah, Neil is the name of a man who, if you saw him on one knee, you know, in front of you, that would be an ideal name for that man, right? Neil, because he's kneeling down, right? I don't think I needed to go that way to explain to you. But anyway, for someone else, just in case, yeah. So, in the same way, if you tell a female something in confidence and you don't want her to tell anyone else, what appropriate name would you expect her to have? What I'm going to do, I'm tempted to, I'm going to tell you this. Don't look too far at the other end of the alphabet. Stick closer to your A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yeah, there you are. That should help you. And this is why I don't understand why people are having so much trouble, because if you'd gone through the alphabet, I'm sure that you would have come up. But don't put your answer in the chat. By the way, if you notice, the chat's not on the screen today. One reason it's not on there, because just before I went live, I thought, no, you know what? Can't be doing with this nutter who was here yesterday. And I'm just looking at the chat now. And apparently someone's saying, hi, are you the daddy of this stream? Very happy though, because yes. Hello. Yeah. So there have been a few comments coming from mixer.com and Facebook. That will be Luz Alba, because yes. Well, that's unfortunate that I haven't been monitoring the other chat. But hey, if you wanted to be involved with the conversation on this broadcast, if you didn't know already, it's about to end, but you should have been on Periscope, our main platform. So apologies to anyone new on Mixer.com or on Twitch.tv. And on Facebook, for that matter, because I can see some comments on Facebook. And if you're on YouTube and you commented as well, and I didn't reply, sorry, but I'm just looked on YouTube, and apparently there are no comments on YouTube, which is good actually, ironically, because it means I haven't missed anything. And we are focusing on Facebook and Periscope, certainly number one, but yeah, Facebook much more soon. So there we are. Better get back to Periscope. Gonna miss your comments if I don't. You once said it was an action or lack of action that just confused me even more. Hey, what? Oh, you said once it was an action or lack of an action that just confused me even more. What is the lady's name? You could describe it as an action or a lack of an action. Yes, yeah, absolutely. Did you enjoy the day? Yeah, I've just come into that. I nearly forgot, Rose, that it's already gone midnight. I noticed that just as I was talking about other people on the other platform there in the chat. It's 1 minute now past midnight. It is officially the 22nd of January 2020 here in England, London, Scotland, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Wales, that'll be Cardiff, of course Dublin, Ireland, oh not forgetting of course Northern Ireland over there as well, yeah, Belfast. So that's where it is locally, time wise. So again, I'm talking to you from tomorrow if you're still in the United States of America and yeah, you haven't transported yourself over here just yet. Right, so I'm just going to get this in order regarding the competition, then I'll get back to Patty's conversation. Where do we send the answer? On Twitter, Patty, at Martin Shine on Twitter. You send me a direct message there, and also you must follow me if you want to get the prize. Make sure you're following me once you've submitted that answer on DM, because if you are right, well, I know you're following me anyway, but also you should be able to direct message me at the moment, even though my account is a little bit restricted the last time I checked. Hopefully that'll be sorted in the next 24 hours. If not, well, it will be sorted soon. But getting back to the competition answer, yeah, I did say that the name of the lady, the name we're looking for, it's kind of a description of a doing emotion. Yes, so yeah, does that make sense? No. But that's the point. You tell someone something, you want them to keep it confidential. It's a lady's name. What would it be ideally, her name? And the reason it's ideal is because when you say the name, it's a bit like describing an action or not, you know, something you do or don't do. More to the point. Oh dear, never mind. Cool, thanks, says Patty. I bet you, can you imagine now, Mary, what happens is someone who's been here for like just a handful of days gets this competition that's been going on for like a handful of, it seems like years, but months. Yeah. Just saying. Right, listen, everyone, I'm going to exit now speedily. I really thank you for being there. Please continue your support. I know I don't need to say that, for Shine Live. I'm sure you're sending her plenty of direct messages, and she does appreciate those. Even if she's not answering immediately, you know that when someone's on a low, I hope she's not, but I really genuinely don't know right now how she's been. Last time I spoke with her, probably about 7 hours ago, something like that, 6 hours ago, you know, evening time on Tuesday. It's now Wednesday, but anyway, yeah, just after midnight. So it is Wednesday here now. But I just hope that she's holding up. It's unusual though. The only thing I'm thinking is she might have been medicated more, you know, for various reasons. And therefore she might be just very tired. And therefore I hope that means that she's more comfortable. I mean, that's the thing as well. That can border on negligence, in my opinion, when staff feel that if someone, you know, in order they sedate you, in order to just keep you calm, and also it's just like because they can't be bothered with you, so just keep you, almost give you sleeping tablets, you know, and just let you just keep sleeping and you know bother, and they don't need to bother with you. And that again is wholly inappropriate, particularly with someone that we're speaking about. As she said, she does get anxious. She knows when she's anxious. She hasn't been afraid to ask for her pills when she's anxious, because she's, as you remember, she told us all, she's been told that when she needs her medication, she just asks and they will be able to assist her. So it's pretty shocking what I'm experiencing here, or seeing here rather, the experience of seeing someone else and the way they're treated or mistreated. Is she going to Scope? Well, that's the thing, Kim. I wouldn't think she is, because if she was, I would have expected her to be in this broadcast now. And the fact that she hasn't been communicating the last 6 or so hours, not good. I tell you what I didn't mention, and it's important before I go, is that when they said that they were thinking of allowing her to go today, she did tell me that they, again, repeated to me, as she's probably told you on here live, that they are going to help her out with housing. Not so that she had somewhere, but she wasn't happy with it originally for one reason or another. They're going to need to find her somewhere else now. And they're going to help her. That's the other point I asked the manager today. If she leaves the hospital, will she still be prioritised now that she is being prioritised with her mental health treatments, or would she effectively go to the back of the queue, back of the line in the system? And the answer is the latter. It means that she would go to the back of any queues. She'd have to go to her general practitioner doctor and join a list and be referred, and that will take another goodness knows how many years, months, weeks, you know. And based on that, well, we know what happened the last time. She's in this position because of that. she was holding on and trying to hold on for as long as possible for the help to happen, but it didn't. And then, of course, she had an anxious moment and tried to take her life. She didn't scope last night either. No, but she did leave a message, didn't she? That's correct. She didn't. She was just feeling very low at that moment. And again, it was hard for me to remember, so I kind of missed out until you reminded me there. I wasn't. It's very difficult for me. I've got a lot going on here myself. Just general stuff. This was a time now, the new year, where I was hopefully going to be focusing on new positive stuff, such as the business, work, getting everything else back in order after having to dance to the tune of these professionals when they were taking Aaron Shine, our son, into care and abusing me, quite frankly, mentally as well over the last 14 months or so. And I'm very much looking forward to them explaining a few things that they have done when I am able to ask and write to them. But there is so many communications that need to be initiated. It's almost difficult to know where to begin, and then we've got this new stuff happening now at the moment as well. So I think you all understand, and I think all my regular viewers that have been watching for many months, such as Mary and Rosie Samantha, JJ Crawl, wherever she is, Brenda, wherever she happens to be right now, and others. And who else have I missed out? I know I've missed out somebody else that's is in here, I thought, that's been watching very regularly. But yes, to everyone that's been watching regularly, you'll understand now why things have been a bit mixed up over the last 18 months or so, with trying to get here and stay here consistently, but then not being able to. It's horrendous. So yes, what I would appreciate as well, I nearly forgot, and I'm glad I didn't, please would you retweet the last tweet that I put out. I responded to Shine Live's last message on Twitter, at least the last one that I saw. Let's just double check that. Yeah, there's a reply from me. Do read it. Although that said, it looks like it's not available at the moment, which is very concerning. Very concerning indeed. If it's not available now, do check. All right, it's actually, there was so much to say that I ended up putting the text into an image and posting it. Yeah, smart if I say so myself, or the thought of doing that. Yeah, because Twitter wouldn't allow you to put so many characters in the tweet. So I tweeted out what I had to say as an image that had text in it. A bit small, so do check it out. If it's not there at the moment and you can't see it, maybe someone will let me know that, and I will certainly tweet it out again if I have to, as soon as the account's up and running. It might come back again if it's not there when the accounts are up and running again, I'm not sure. Message really worried me a lot. What, the last one from Shine Social, is that what you mean, Kim? Fingers crossed, Patty, hope you have the correct answer. We're all tired of this competition. 101. LOL. Hands up. Oh yeah, newbies, that's right. That's the hands up moment, is the LOL. Yeah, you see? Sort of 101. Hello. LOL. Yes. See, I'm tired, aren't I? Right. Well, we have almost reached our time. We don't have to always start and finish at 11 minutes past any given hour. We like 22 as well, by the way. My favourite number was always number 3. Why? Because from a very early age, as far as I can remember, even being very young, I used to think to myself, well, you know, you have people saying yes, you have people saying no, and then you must have another option as well somewhere to consider. You know, so again, the glass is half full, half empty, but compromise, something in the middle. And for that reason, I always thought 3 was a good number. And then, of course, as I aged, I very quickly learned that obviously 3 is also known as the magic number for various reasons. It is a great number. Love it. Which is why I also like number 9, because what are 3 3s? And yeah, but latterly, in years of late, I learned that 11 was very significant to me. And it is. And I can tell you, it's crazy, because 11's everywhere for me now. Even when I have to start a video, yeah, on YouTube, for example, if you look at that button you press, yeah, or if you stop the video and pause it, what number's there? Yeah, what does it look like? The icon. Right, I'm about to say goodbye at any moment now, because just yeah, well, the idea of it being red was just to sort of try and stand out. So apologies if it was a bit mad. You could always try and zoom in on it, I suppose, Mary. Maybe save the image and then zoom in if you need to, that sort of thing. Thank you, Kim, and thank you to everyone out there for tonight, or this afternoon, this evening, this morning, if you're watching the replay. How bizarre. 11 minutes past midnight as I say goodbye and this live finishes. And have a great day today, everyone, whatever you're doing. And, well, I say that. It's still Tuesday for some of you, but you know what I'm saying. We'll catch up, hopefully, if not before, in about 23 hours' time. I thank you once again. I've been Martin Shine, .live, and you've been the wonderful you. Mary says I did. Night. Excellent. Thanks a lot, people. Bye-bye for now.